Ahoy, mateys! It be time for Scott Fox to do a website review for piratefashions.com. Arr! This is from my friend Tiger Lee, who's a member of our Masterminds forum, and so I'm going to do this review of his website, piratefashions.com, a top retailer online and offline for pirate garb, authentic pirate clothing for real. If some beautiful clothing and garb, if you're interested in pirate wear, then this is the place for you at piratefashions.com. But today we're going to talk about the website rather than just the cool pirate stuff, and I'm going to go through the website together to help give Tiger and his band of pirates some feedback on how they can improve the website to sell even more pirate accoutrements. So, by the way, if you'd like a website review like this, you can visit expertwebsitereviews.com or come join the Click Millionaires Masterminds forum at mastermindsforum.com. Okay, Tiger, well, avast and all that sort of thing. You're quite the pirate speak guy. You've really livened up our forums with all your pirate talk, and we all are enjoying that and appreciate that. So we'll let this landlubber give you some suggestions. I think you've got a great site here. I understand you've recently moved over to the Shopify platform, and that's been a major endeavor, I can imagine, with the kind of inventory that you stock, trying to get everything over onto this new platform and get it all working. So I'll have a bunch of suggestions here, and some of them clearly are going to be limited by the design flexibility of the Shopify platform. So I'm not sure when it applies and when it doesn't, but hopefully you can weed through my suggestions here and find the best ones for you. And I think that there's a lot of great material here, and you're just about to explode if you do this right. So let's get to it. So, starting at the top, well, first of all, overall, I love the approach, right? The pirate thing, you're doing it. You even do it personally when you participate in the forum. There's a lot of great branding, and of course, the goods. You've got the goods, the booty, the plunder, the real stuff, and it looks great. Your photography is good too. It's realistic, and you can tell that this is the real deal stuff, and you continue that vibe throughout the site, which is fabulous. So my suggestions today are going to be to improve that, bring some of it even more to the forefront, frankly, and optimize the site to help encourage people to participate and buy into your brand, and then, of course, buy into your clothing as well. So starting at the top, well, we've got Pirate Fashions here, and you've got this logo. So starting literally at the top, Pirate Fashions. I like your logo. A lot of folks in the forum did already. You've gotten some great feedback from our other members in the Masterminds forum. But I do have a couple suggestions. You've got the interlocked cutlass and flintlock, like this. But you'll see that they actually almost parallel the lines of the hat. So that at first glance, it's not clear that it is a hat with two weapons behind it. I think you'd be much better served. Let me try to demonstrate. Right now they're like this, and they exactly match the lines of the hat almost. I think you'd be much better served if you just did like this, so that you could tell more distinctly the sword and the gun from the lines of the hat. Does that make sense? So instead of this, where they mirror the edges of the hat, it's like this, so that they stuck out more of an X. Okay? The little red lines on there also, it's just small enough. Why not make that a P and an F, right? Pirate Fashions. Get some mileage out of that. Or even make the hat a little bigger and more obviously a hat. I know it's a hat. You can see the guys here. Here with a hat and here with a hat. I understand about tri-corner hats. It's not incredibly obvious, though. And I think if you tighten it up a little more contrast between the weapons and the hat, it would help a lot. Maybe the cutlass should be silver instead of brown, for example. That might help things. But basically a quick makeover of the logo, I think, would take it up to like a whole nother level, probably for less than $100. Like, you could probably go to Fiverr.com and get a couple guys, $5 each, to have 3 or 4 different designers try it, and I'll bet that he or she could come up with a polished version of that would pop even more. I mean, this logo is so close to being cool that you could almost start selling it, your own branded stuff, and that's what I'd like to see it as. It's so cool that people just want the logo, right? It could really mean something, especially around Tampa, I would think. Next, Pirate Fashions. Love the name? Fine. Pirate Fashions is great. But why not piratefashions.com? I noticed in the forum that you call it Pirate Fashions. I noticed in your videos, your team, you call it Pirate Fashions. Why not add the .com? People do this a lot, and I know you've come from a brick and mortar environment, so you have a real store, and it's not all .com. But if you would all just get in the habit of saying .com, and if the logo said .com every time, it would just make it that much easier for you in the long run to build up your business online. Cheap and easy to do, piratefashions.com all the time. That's what I would do anyway. Okay, next, world's largest physical and online pirate store. That's fine, close enough, and I think you're working on it anyway, as you said in the forum, so close enough for me. Let's keep moving. Now, there's a lot of blank space up here, and I think this is, you're constrained by the Shopify platform, I gather. The search is interesting. I wonder if that gets used or not. A lot of people have searches that don't get used, so if it doesn't, I'd get rid of it. The login, do they need a login? Whenever I see a login, I want to leave a site. It just makes me think, oh, I have to be a member here. And you probably don't. This is a store, right? So you might say customer login or login for previous customers or something like that to clarify. And same with the search. You might say search for cool pirate stuff or whatever your keywords are to give it a little more oomph to it, right? So that's our header. Next. These menus are huge. We've talked about that in the forum already. I see a bunch of the people that commented have already complained about that, and you're on it, you're aware. That makes sense. I totally agree with somebody, maybe it was Ola, who said accoutrements, cool word. Nobody uses that word. I'd get rid of accoutrements everywhere. I mean, I even speak some French, and accoutrement, I don't even know how to spell it, and I'm a good speller. I wrote 3 books, right? I think garb, outfit, stuff, gear. I think gear is probably the best one these days because that's sort of the generic American English term for stuff that's equipment oriented, and gear is short. It fits into menus nicely. So you might try pirate gear. Just a thought. But accoutrements I don't think is doing you any favors. Wearables makes a little more sense. I think you're talking about clothes, aren't you? I mean, I know an eye patch isn't necessarily clothes, or pouches aren't clothes, but wearables, again, not a word anybody's going to use. Now the media, I love this stuff here. This to me looks like a differentiator for you, and I think media probably belongs out here in the main menu, especially with the wonderful videos that you have sprinkled around the site and that were mentioned a little bit in the forum. I think media could be a big push for you, and I'd think about pulling a lot of that stuff out here where people could see it. Next, picking on the keywords a little more. Accessories is okay. I think gear would be better. But accessories has a more specific meaning, I think, in modern English, so maybe that's right. Like parasol maybe isn't gear. I don't know. But next word I wanted to pick on was garb. You use that word a lot, and I think it must mean something to you. I don't know anybody. I mean, of course, I know what the word means, but nobody is going to use that word to search. I would use a real word that people use because it can help your SEO. A word like costume. And I think that probably cheapens what you do, and maybe you don't like costume because your stuff is so authentic. But I'll bet that's what people search for. If you don't like costume, just clothes or outfit. You actually use outfit down here, pirate and wench. So maybe outfits is the way to go. Although that implies an ensemble, right? Not a specific. So I just think garb, you're missing opportunities here. So like accessories, I would like that to say pirate gear, and then pirate costumes, and then wench outfits or wench clothes. Pirate weapons. You can repeat that stuff, right? About piratefashions.com. You know, not too much. You don't want to do keyword stuffing, but I think you know enough about search engine optimization to know that the more you use those words, the better your site will be linked for those, right? So all of those are opportunities for you to optimize. Similarly, in the submenus, firearms, black powder, these black powder pistols, I guess it's a sub of weapons, but why not spell it out? It's a perfectly reasonable place to say black powder guns or black powder weapons. Or pirate blades, right? Adding those modifiers gives you a chance to repeat the keywords, and Google will give you credit for that, I think, okay? So those are some thoughts across the top. Next, moving right from the top here. This makes a lot of sense given that so much of your business is in Tampa. Tampa Pirate Festival Parade is huge. I didn't really know what that was, so I went and Googled it. My goodness, you're in the right town, it sounds like. The Gasparilla Crew makes a lot of sense. The problem is that this is so local that the other 99% of the human population that doesn't live in the Tampa area and has never heard of this is going to come here and think you're a local store and click away. So I get that you're trying to optimize for that local traffic, and that totally makes sense, but I actually think this is really hurting you. If I saw a site that is promoting its local address and hours of operation, it would make me think they were a local store, and I would click away and go to Amazon.com or someplace that I thought was an online shop that would know how to handle my e-commerce and ship it to me quickly. You know, in my experience, brick and mortar stores aren't good at shipping stuff. They're not good at e-commerce. And if you are good at it, which I think you are, and you want to be better, this detracts from that. So I know it's a knife edge or a cutlass edge to walk, right? How much to appeal to local and how much to appeal online. But I gotta say, I would think that your long-term growth potential is much more online. You've probably done a pretty good job of letting the Gasparilla market know you're there. Of course, you want to continue to show up in the search results, so I'm not saying to get rid of this, but I think it's entirely too prominent. I would think this is more of a side ad. Again, I think Shopify template is pretty limited, but normally I would see something like this just kind of tucked up here, or maybe in a graphic even. Come visit our store when you're in Tampa. But the assumption is you're not in Tampa, and that I think would help your business in the long run in terms of credibility online. Next, this big graphic. I love the graphic. These are your friends. I think this guy's name is Fred even. I saw him in some of the videos. They clearly show that this is, you're doing this stuff. It's real. It fits real people. This is not, Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie dressed up, from a movie still. This is real folks doing this. And they're your local photos. I think you're doing a good job. It's way too big, though. You've got your whole above the fold space taken up with a local Tampa promotion, and then this big picture. I think this picture could be cut down to a third of its size and still get the point across. Yes, I understand you want people to brand and participate in the experience. I totally buy that. It just doesn't need to be this big. It takes all the real estate. And that with the Tampa thing, and you've got nothing left except these little menus. Which, by the way, there are no calls to action anywhere on this page right now. If you look, there's nothing anywhere that says buy something or join my email list or even leave a comment. There's nothing, right? It's all this branding and then this little stuff. And of course, I'm picking on you, Tiger, because you asked, right? And the site's great, but I want you to get these points that hopefully can get it to the next level. And I think that a lot of this, frankly, this cool picture, you don't want to make it too small, but I think you could combine this big picture with your logo and this top bar here. At least you could in a custom design site. I don't know how much Shopify will do. But another thought is, I mean, you want a logo anyway, but this is a great photo of one of your friends. That could be your symbol every time. Why not take a silhouette of this man, even just a black, shadow cut? It's a good photo and a great pose, or even just his actual picture, and put it in every corner of the site. I mean, you want him to face the other way like this guy is, but this guy isn't quite as, I don't know, he's a little carnival looking compared to the authenticity of this guy, right? So anyway, that's just some thoughts, but I think this is way too big is the punchline. All right, let's get going. So far, we've only made it the top part of the first page. The question about your talking like a pirate, I think it's great. Fantastic. There are a bunch of typos on the site, though, where things are just kind of spelled odd or wrong. And there's a fine line between being in character and being confusing. So I'd be a little careful about that. If we see, I saw them before, I didn't write them down, but if I see some now as we go through, I'll point them out. And you're making the point that it's not the cheap Halloween stuff. That's fine too. Again, this is maybe a little large. I'd love to see a lot of this stuff just compressed. Because when people arrive on the page, you've got about 6 or 7 seconds, and they're in there or out of there. And right now, there's no call to action. I think you have to be in Tampa. There's this big picture and some writing, like, where's the stuff, right? I want to buy some stuff. And those are the people you want to grab as soon as possible. And that's what some of our friends in the forum said already. And so you've made some changes. And I'm a big fan of this. I'm a big fan. This is what people are looking for. Like, oh, I get it. This guy has got the real deal, and here's the prices. Okay, got it, right? I'd love to see these. I don't think they need to be this big. I'd love to see these same 8, maybe 60% of the size currently, so shrink them by 40%. So instead of, what are these, like 375, 400 pixels tall, make them like 300 pixels tall, and move all 8 of them right here. I know you want to brand stuff, but man, this is the best branding you've got. Look, there's a whole bunch of different stuff, and it's all for sale. That's the experience you want people to have, right? So again, you can figure out how much of this you agree with, but I'm trying to push you towards being more specific and actually presenting buying opportunities sooner. The other big thing that's missing here, again, no calls to action. None of these say buy, add to cart, check it out, more info, details, add to wish list, nothing. So I'd love to see some little buttons here that say see more or or add to cart or buy. A lot of e-commerce platforms, I haven't worked with Shopify lately, but a lot of them will automatically add a rollover effect that if you mouse over a picture, it will add a button, a pop-up button, like a quick view or add to cart or something. I'd look into that and see if that's something you can turn on, because again, lots of good stuff here, but no calls to action. Then the treasure seeker reply. This is another thing. Cool, but taking up a lot of space. As you mentioned in the forum, I think you're thinking about making this as a pop-up. I think that's a good idea. I think it's pretty distracting from the e-commerce thing. If you want to do customer research, I get that, but I would rather see you do that by emailing out surveys to your past customers or a pop-up, like you said. To me, I'm not the biggest pirate expert, but I've never even heard of black sales, so I don't, what is that, And why would anybody want to participate in this? You haven't offered them an incentive or a question or what's going to be done with their answer or anything. So this is kind of just looks shoveled in here, and I think you'd be better off without it, frankly. I love SurveyMonkey or Wufoo or any of those tools, and I'm all for collecting data. I'm just not sure this is the right place. You might instead think about putting it in making, instead of 3 boxes here, make it 4. And say, take our survey for X, a 10% off coupon or something, a free feather on your hat or whatever it is. Give them some incentive. Speaking of incentives, my biggest thing that's missing on the page above is this. I know your newsletter isn't currently working, so that's, I gather, why you've deprioritized it. But this needs to be big and sexy, and I would literally put that way up above the fold. I think it should be up here. It's more important than the Gasparilla stuff, more important than anything else on the page, because you can reach people again and again for free if you have a good list. And even if you're not going to start using it immediately, building that list is an asset that every time you want to make some money, send out the email, and pretty soon you'll have 500, 5,000, 15,000. That's a lot of people. And bang, and you can sell. You don't just have to send out discounts. You're building a blog and stuff over here with some videos. I mean, you are just ripe for publishing. And I know you're not a big fan of social media, but email is talking directly to your customers, and I think it could really be good for you. Again, something we can talk about more in the forum. Now, I skipped, and sorry, the one more thought on that was, how about making a graphic? One of these attractive ladies, you had this great idea, Molly Roger. This is a female Jolly Roger. I love that idea, right? The Molly Roger, her or one of these folks, could be actually in this saying, hey, hey, pirate boy, sign up for this list, and you've got good human models, which is a tremendous advantage compared to most websites that rely on stock photography or cartoons or just no humans at all. They're just very impersonal. You've got this great, look at all these people, I guess these folks work with you, and they look fantastic. So I would use them more and more, even yourself. Make yourself literally the face of piratefashions.com and work it, use these photos. While I'm talking about the photos, I guess I do have one complaint, and I understand why you do this, but they're all in this really dull white. I would invest $100 and get a backdrop that is, a beach scene or a pirate ship or something that, again, I understand doesn't contrast too much with the clothing, right? You don't want it to distract, but the plain white is good, but it could so easily be so much better. There's a site online, if I can't remember it, we can talk about it in the forum. It's like discountbackdrops.com or something like that. And you can buy a big backdrop for like 79 bucks that's just the size of this white one you're using, and it would look so much cooler for like 80 bucks. And it would transform your whole site. And buy 3 of them, and then it would all look, anyway, you get the idea. These are great photos. You've got the lighting nice and everything. Just put a little more behind them, and I think it would come to life. Again, finding something with low contrast is difficult, but I bet you could figure it out. You're obviously talented creatively. Next, I wanted to talk about these. So these are like a whole nother level of photo, and I'm wondering, I presume these are taken by you also, because some of the models look similar, but these are really cool, and they look all dark and piratey, So I'm wondering if you could use more of these, or how do you create more? Because these look so different than these. Both are good, but these look like movie stills. So if they are movie stills, I guess maybe you can't get that many more. But if this is something that you're creating, like this guy is one of yours. I can see that. And a cool outfit, cool picture, got it. But these other ones are really eye-catching, and I think would get you much more into the world of cosplay, costume play, and people that are into like Comic-Con and genre movies and all that kind of stuff. These are just so dark and atmospheric. I guess that's the word, atmospheric. They have so much atmosphere compared to these, where here the costumes are clearly shining, but there's no atmosphere. And I'd love to see you step that up again if you can, right? You've got an unlimited budget, nothing else to do, I know. And you've only got 2 products, so that'll be easy, right? I understand, but I'm just talking because you asked me to. All right, what else can we talk about here to help Tiger move? Oh, we're over 20 minutes already. My goodness, this is such a cool site, Tiger. You got me going. Let me toss in a couple more things. Again, all these items I think could have more interesting and keyword-rich names. I think your press and media section has a major opportunity for you. So this was cute. I watched this video. Cute's the wrong word. I thought it was clever. Your lighting could be a little brighter. It's honestly a little hard to see. I understand it's atmospheric. You're in the corner. The filter you've got with the black corners is cool, but it's hard to actually see the people at some level. You said one of your videos has 71,000 views, but I clicked over on this one on YouTube and it only had, let's see, what do we got? 35 views. So this hasn't been promoted much, right? And by the way, this is someplace where when you introduce it and when Fred talks, don't just say Pirate Fashions. Say piratefashions.com. Every time. .com. Why not? But this only has 35 views, so I'm thinking you didn't promote this one yet. But you could make something of these. And if you could just get your blog going on a regular basis with those, and then you've got this other stuff like Assassin's Creed, you've got these tie-ins with TV and video games, and you're traveling internationally. I mean, this is a pirate blog business by itself, right? Like if you had a nephew or somebody who wanted to just blog about that and sell your stuff, that's a thing. I mean, you've got such great content here, and you've got the visuals. Again, you've got such a big competitive advantage because you have these fantastic visuals that you can create in-house because you have all this fantastic props. Good stuff. That reminds me, by the way, I didn't see on here, and it may be here, but is there anything on here about props? I think you might be well served to market to the TV and film industries and the cosplay industries and do some optimization for pirate props. And props for movies, props for TV. There's a bunch of keywords around that, and you could do a couple blog posts, and I'll bet you get ranked, and then have Hollywood call on you, which of course would give you great credibility in the eyes of all your customers as well, right? So I would definitely hit the video even harder. I would keep posting the photos. I mean, look at this, awesome stuff. And you took this trip to the UK. I enjoyed reading that. And Air Pirate, I mean, good stuff. And the backstage stuff was cool. There's a store tour in here. Yeah, I did that, a store tour. That was fun. So on and on. I think you've got a lot of good stuff here. Last thing I wanted to just say was I was a little confused in the weapons category. It doesn't say anywhere that it says replica, okay? But I don't know if that means it can fire or not fire. That could just be a little clearer. That may be obvious to you. It's also not quite so clear to me. Is the thing made out of wood or out of plastic? How much of it is metal? I mean, some of them are and some aren't, and I didn't read them all, so maybe I missed it. And I love the videos you have with these. They really make it come to life. But a little more detail on these, how they work, I think would be helpful for me if I'm going to drop, 60 or $100 on a flintlock. Is it all wood? Is it any wood? Is it, those little details could help. So just as a customer, as a potential customer who needs a flintlock, that's what I was thinking, okay? I think that's about it. Again, I think newsletter belongs up here and not just down here. And I'm sure that you'll get there when you're ready. And I think that's about all I have to say today. You have just so much stuff here. It's exciting. I think the media stuff deserves its own. And I really am a big fan, again, of slimming down the homepage and putting the products up top here a little more. This stuff is good. I would love to see those with a little more atmosphere, and I think that you could add some calls to action. And I think, Tiger, you've got a great thing here. This could sell worldwide to the point where Tampa is just a small part of your empire, and it's just where your warehouse is. There are stories of lots of businesses who have started in the real world and eventually just gone all online. Now, you don't need to do that, I guess, because of the Gasparilla crew, but I think you've got huge potential here to market your pirate materials and accoutrements worldwide, and I wish you the best of luck. So I hope that's helpful to you, and aye, aye, Captain, and all that sort of stuff. I hope that helps you transform more of the lubbers into pirates, and I hope to see you again soon in the Masterminds forum. We can talk over any of these points or any other questions you might have there anytime, of course. And if you're watching this video later, head on over to piratefashions.com when you're looking for some pirate booty of your own. And if you'd like a video like this of your own, well, come on over to expertwebsitereviews.com, and I, Scott Fox, will do a video for you just like this one I did for Tiger, or join us in our Masterminds forum, mastermindsforum.com, and I'll do one for you for free. Hope to see you again soon. Thanks for watching, and aye, aye, avast, you scurvy dogs. It's time for me to set sail. Thanks for watching.